Today's track battle is all about brains versus brawn. We've got the sweet revving, lightweight Porsche Cayman and the turbocharged and seriously quick M235i. We're at Blyton Park, which has got a very long straight, but also some really tight technical sections. This is neutral ground. I think this one is going to be really close. So we're going to start off in the BMW M235i. This car is just over 34 grand, 321 horsepower, but the key is 332 pounds-foot of torque from this 3-litre turbocharged straight six. That's a load more than the Cayman, but it is pushing 1,455 kilos as compared to 1,310 for the Porsche. So we've got everything ramped up to Sport Plus mode, and we've got the DSC off. Remember, this M235i, just like the M135i, doesn't have an LSD as standard, which has been a bit of a problem with the M135i on track in the past. Car just feels a bit scrappy. This thing should be a bit more focused and I hope a bit more balanced. I'm glad to say we've got a 6-speed manual gearbox in this. The 8-speed is really good, the ZF Auto that the car can have as an option, but it's just something more enjoyable about the 6-speed manual, especially on the circuit. So first impressions of this car, just building up to speed. The engine is really, really lovely. Always like this motor, and it just suits the car. It's a proper little revver, despite being turbocharged, and it sounds really good. There are elements of this car that don't feel entirely at home on the track. The brakes are okay, but you can feel them just starting to go off after only a couple of laps, really. And the car just feels a bit heavy and a bit scrappy. You're always fighting, like there, with understeer or oversteer. There's quite a lot of turning understeer. If you're turning off the power, you get the oversteer. It's nice through the high speed corners, but in the low speed ones, it doesn't quite feel as hooked up as you want it to. You feel quite high. You just feel a little bit detached from the action. Okay, so let's try and do a clean lap of this car. Just a little wiggle of oversteer, but this engine just romps through the gears. It's good on the brakes, a bit of understeer. Rides the curb pretty well. Now you just wait for the front to bite onto the long straight, so you lose a bit of time, but you claw it back because this engine is just so quick. Bobs around a bit, the stiffness you feel on the road, you can even feel it on the track. Again, good on the brakes. Bit of understeer on the way in, and again you have to hesitate slightly on the throttle. The car just doesn't feel as light as you want it to. That's good though. That's good. It's opening out the corner well. It's nice through this high speed. Little lift and another little lift. Bit of understeer, not too bad. Again, it works well on the brakes. The brakes have come back. And it's not too bad actually around a lap. Not very dramatic, but feels fast.
The M235i records a 108.7. That's exactly a second shy of the M135i. Despite the sunshine, Blyton had been the victim of a huge hailstorm and flood the previous day, and the track was covered in fine silt. We'll get the M235i back again to record a more representative time, but the Porsche will face similar conditions.
So, into the Cayman. This is a Pogo Cayman, manual gearbox. We've got PASM dampers, which are in sport. Again, the traction control off. Immediately it feels lower, lighter, sounds even better at the top end of the rev range. But you do notice the lack of torque compared to the BM. This has got 270 horse, about 221 pounds-feet of torque, so it's over 100 down on the BM, which is probably more noticeable on the road than on the track, because here you're just ringing it out and it sounds great when you're revving it. Other things, well, the steering just feels like there's less slack in it, less squidge, and the brakes are much better. It's not got ceramics, but they're typically brilliant Porsche brakes. Just the way it changes direction, touch, it's just so much more precision than you get in that BMW. This feels like a real sports car, whereas the BM sort of feels like what it is, a normal car in the range that's had a bit of grunt and stiffer suspension thrown at it. So it feels more special, this car, immediately, but does that make it quicker? Well, let's do one clean lap and see how these two cars compare. Immediately, it just carries more speed in. This car's got huge tyres, 265 rear 20-inch tyres, which seems overkill for 221 pounds-foot of torque. But amazingly, you still get adjustability. It just sounds great down the straight, but we're way down on speed, probably 6-7 miles an hour. Much longer gearing. Again, you can just commit to the throttle so much more quickly. And the adjustability in the chassis just helps you precisely get through the corners without losing the speed. High speed corner, no lift, a little lift in the middle, and then, yeah, just more composure. It feels so much more natural than the BM, and the gearbox is unreal. It's just a lovely little car, this. You just can play it to your tune. In the BM, you feel like you're managing, you're exploiting. That's a lap. Don't know if it's quicker, but tell you, it's more fun.
So the lighter, more nimble Cayman is much more fun, and despite being nearly 10 miles an hour down on the long straight, it eats up the BMW underbraking and has higher apex speeds everywhere. The result is a 107.7, a full second clear of the BMW. In terms of enjoyment and against the watch, this is an easy win for the Cayman.